Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. So glad you could join us.
Great to be here.
Today, we're going to be looking back, talking about the past. We're focusing on Chapter 12 from our learning book, and it's really about using those two little words, was and were, to talk about, what happened before now.
Exactly.
Now, if you've been following along with us through Chapters 1 to 11, you've already built a really solid base in English, which is fantastic.
Yeah, great foundation.
So our goal, our mission for this deep dive is basically to make using the past tense feel simple, maybe even fun, so you can share your own stories confidently.
And Chapter 12, it really zooms in on the simple past tense of the verb to be. So was and were. We'll see how to use them to describe situations, feelings, places, all in the past. Getting these right is, it's key for talking about what was and what were.
Definitely. I'm excited to get into it, Alex. We'll have clear examples, try to connect it all to real life for you. All right, so let's get started. First off, let's just quickly remember the present tense of to be. You already know this, right? Am, is, are.
Right, like I'm here now, she is happy, they are students. We use those constantly for the present moment.
Okay, so how does that change when we talk about yesterday or last week?
Well, it actually gets simpler in a way. Those three forms become just two in the past, was and were, and the rule is pretty straightforward. For I, he, she, and it, you use was.
Okay, I was, he was, she was, it was.
Exactly. And for we, you, and they, you use were.
We were, you were, they were. Got it.
Think of it like your time machine buttons for the verb to be.
I like that. So, okay, if I am a student is now.
That I was a student is before. Maybe last year or many years ago.
And if they're interested in music now?
Then maybe last month they were interested in music.
Yeah.
See, it's a direct switch.
Yeah, that makes sense. You just need to remember which subject goes with was and which goes with were.
And here's something really helpful, especially if your first language has different verbs for being, like, say, Portuguese.
Oh, right, like ser and estar.
Exactly. In Portuguese, you use ser for more permanent things like identity, eu sou professor, I am a teacher, and you use estar for temporary states or locations. Eu estou na Inglaterra, I'm in England, or nós estamos estudando, we are studying.
Okay, two different verbs.
But in English, the verb to be, both in the present and the past, does the job of both ser and estar. So was and where handle both identity and states or locations in the past. This can be a huge aha moment for learners. It simplifies things.
That is a great point. So I was a teacher, that's like ser in the past, my identity then. And I was in England, that's like a star in the past, my location then.
Perfect.
And we were studying English, that's also like a star, describing what we were doing, our state.
You got it. One verb, to be, handles all those past situations.
Okay, so we have was and were. What about making things negative, like I wasn't there?
Also pretty simple. You just add not after was or were. So I was not a student. But, in spoken English, we almost always use contractions.
Right. So was not becomes...
Wasn't.
Yeah.
WASN''T. I wasn't a student.
Okay. And were not.
Becomes weren't. WEREN''T. They weren't interested.
Wasn't, weren't. These contractions are super common, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Using wasn't and weren't will make your English sound much more natural, much more fluent.
Yeah. So maybe take a moment right now, just try saying them out loud. I wasn't, you weren't, he wasn't, we weren't.
Good idea. Practice helps lock it in. Speaking is physical. You need to get your mouth used to the sounds.
Definitely. So quick recap here. Was and where are your main tools for describing who someone was, where they were, how they felt. Anything about a state of being in the past.
Absolutely. They set the scene for your past stories.
Okay, so once we can make statements like, I was tired, or they weren't ready, what's next? Asking and answering questions, right?
Exactly. And short answers with was and where are really easy. Let's say someone asks, was Mr. Jones drinking coffee yesterday morning?
Okay.
You can just say, yes, he was, or no, he wasn't. Short and sweet.
Simple enough. Another one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Were you watering your plants this morning?
Yes, I was. Or, no, I wasn't. Okay, I see. You use was or wasn't in the answer if the question started with was or were.
Precisely. The answer mirrors the verb in the question.
And this works for everyday stuff, too. Like if a friend asks, where were you last night?
You could say, oh, I was at the cinema. Or I wasn't out, I was at home.
Or, how was the party?
It was great. Or maybe, it wasn't very exciting. Using was or wasn't to describe it.
Right. But what about other verbs like eat or go or buy? We don't use was or were for short answers then, do we?
No, good point, Taylor. That's a really important distinction. For other verbs and the simple past action verbs, we use did and didn't for short answers.
Okay, can you give an example?
Sure. Did Andy buy ice cream last night? The verb is buy.
Right. Not to be.
So the answer is yes, she did, or no, she didn't.
Not yes, she was or no, she wasn't.
Correct. Another one. Did you and Brad go to the beach yesterday? The verb is go.
So, yes, we did, or no, we didn't.
Exactly. So, wasser for to be questions, didn't for questions with other simple past verbs. It's a key difference.
Okay, that's clear. So let's try putting was and were to use describing people. Thinking back, how were you when you were young? Our book has some fun words like adorable, confident, shy, funny.
Clumsy, easygoing, stubborn, talkative, lots of options.
Yeah. So take a second, listener. Think about yourself as a kid. Were you shy? Were you talkative? Try saying I was.
For me, I think I was quite easygoing, but maybe a little stubborn sometimes. How about you, Taylor?
I was definitely talkative and probably a bit clumsy, like I mentioned earlier. It's fun to think back using these words.
It is. And sometimes you need to explain why something happened or didn't happen in the past. You can combine these structures. We'll look at this example. Did you eat dinner last night?
Right.
That's a did question about an action.
Okay. The answer could be no, I didn't.
Right. And then you can add the reason using wasn't. No, I didn't. I wasn't hungry.
Oh, I see. Didn't answers the action question. Wasn't explains the state or feeling behind it.
Exactly. They work together perfectly to give a fuller picture of the past situation.
Cool. Okay, I feel like we've got the mechanics down. Now maybe we can see how this all plays out in, like, real stories.
Yes, absolutely. Hearing or reading stories is one of the best ways to see how the past tense works naturally.
Makes it stick better.
For sure. So in our learning materials, there's a nice reading passage called My Trip to Japan.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one, about backpacking.
That's the one. A trip to Nara and Kyoto. They visited Tadaiji Temple, fed the deer. Lots of cool experiences.
So how does it use was and were?
Well, it sets the scene and describes things. Like, it starts, our last stop was Japan. Tells us the final destination, a key fact. Then, the trip was carefully planned. Again, was describes the state of the trip planning. And it describes feelings, like, my friend Jane was scared of the deer.
Right. And other feelings.
At the end of a long day, it says, we were exhausted, using were, because the subject is we.
Yeah.
And then the final sentence gives an opinion about the whole experience. Japan was my favorite stop. That carries a lot of feeling.
Yeah, it does. And it mixes Wesser with other past verbs, like arrived, had breakfast, walked, visited, bought.
Exactly. That mix is what makes a story flow naturally. Was and were often provide the background or state, while other verbs describe the actions.
So for you listening, think about your last trip, even just the day trip. Where were you? Who were you with? How was the weather? What was the best part? You can use was and were to start telling that story.
It's a great way to practice.
We also have another story in the materials, right? About a teacher.
Yes. Robin's journey as a teacher. It's a lovely story about her life.
Tell us a bit about it.
Well, it follows Robin from growing up in Minnesota, studying French, doing an exchange program in Paris, and eventually becoming a French teacher in Nice, France.
So it's like a mini biography using the past tense.
Exactly. And it uses was and other past verbs to trace her life. It starts, Robin was born in a small city. That sets her origin.
Okay, simple fact using was.
Then it talks about her interests and actions. She studied French. She fell in love with the language. She went on an exchange program.
Lots of action verbs there in the past.
Yes, and descriptions of the program. Her exchange program lasted 6 months. And what she did there, she visited tourist places, she traveled, she made new friends.
Building the picture of her experience.
And it follows her through college. She studied modern languages. She moved to St. Paul. She got a position as a teacher. It shows her progression.
And her feelings.
It mentions her love for the language grew, and later she missed France a lot.
So verbs describing internal states, too.
And the story concludes with a big life change. She moved back to France. The simple past tells her whole journey up to that point.
Wow. So learning these forms, was, were, and the simple past of other verbs. It really unlocks the ability to talk about your own life story, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Your background, where you grew up, important events, past jobs, past relationships, it all relies on the simple past. It's how you share who you are by explaining who you were and what you did.
That's powerful. So for everyone listening, let's bring it back to you again. Think about your childhood. Who was your best friend? What was your favorite game? What did you do after school? How were you feeling on your first day of school?
Great questions. Answering those, even just in your head, is a fantastic practice using was, were, and other past verbs.
Okay, so let's maybe recap the key things from this deep dive into Chapter 12.
Sounds good. So the main points are mastering was and were as the past tense of to be. Remember, Ahisha goes with was, and they go with were.
Right, and their negative forms, wasn't and weren't. Very common.
Mm-hmm. We also covered short answers, using yes, I was, or no, he wasn't for questions with to be.
And contrasting that with yes, I did, or no, she didn't, for questions using other verbs in the simple past.
Exactly. Understanding that difference is crucial.
So these tools, was, were, wasn't, weren't, plus the simple past of other verbs, they are absolutely essential for talking about anything before now.
From just saying where you were yesterday to telling your whole life story.
Yeah. And the key, as always, is practice, isn't it?
Definitely. Keep using these forms. Try thinking in English about your past experiences. Describe your day yesterday. Tell someone a short story about your childhood.
Don't worry about making mistakes. Every time you try, you're building that muscle. Like you said, Alex, every little sentence helps.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the past with was and were. We hope it was really helpful for you.
Yeah, keep practicing, keep exploring the past tense. It opens up so much communication.
And definitely join us next time. We're moving forward in the book, and fittingly, we'll be looking at the future.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, our next deep dive will cover Chapter 13, focusing on how to talk about future plans and predictions using going to and will.
Looking forward to that one. So keep up the great work, everyone.
Absolutely. We'll see you in the next deep dive. Bye for now.